Les here with a new video. I just did the Mr. Freeze this last week, or 2 weeks ago, or whatever it was. There he is. And I recently finished, or have gotten close to finish, on my custom Poison Ivy. That is a Phicen body there, and they're hard to beat for sexiness and shape and all that. I don't think you can see everything about her way I've got this set up. Sorry about that. She's got some sexy little shoes down there, and you see my autographed Arnold card. Those are sort of hard to find. That was part of the reason I instigated the Mr. Freeze figure at all, was I had this card, and I'm like, you know, I'm like a lot of Batman fans. This wasn't necessarily my favorite movie by any means. I do find it silly, and I do find it, you know, it can even be childish in a way. But it's what it is, and it's a Batman movie. I had the statues already. I had the Robin there. I noticed they're nipple-free, which is, I guess it's good and bad. It's not as accurate to the movie, but it's sort of, you don't have to worry about all the nipplage going on. And then there's the Batman that I had of that. And I have recently sold the Poison Ivy and the Mr. Freeze statues because, well, I now have these figures. So, real quick on this Ivy, the head I got on eBay, it was a sculpt more for, I think, the bride character in Kill Bill, and it was just this sort of hairless head that you can get. There's a guy that I want to commend that's done a fantastic Poison Ivy head, and I would have gotten that, but he wanted like 150 bucks for it. It's not cheap. And I said, well, okay, let me see what I can do with this face and see what I can do. And I had the old doll. The clothes from this is from the old 97, I don't know if it was Kenner, Mattel, who the heck made the Batman figures then. But that tacky doll with a great big old basketball head. And the only thing I used, of course, was the clothes. It's not 100% accurate. I did kind of sew the arms in where they were a little tighter, and her legs filled out real well. The Phicen filled out the body real well, but there was some bagginess to the front of the costume. It's still not 100% perfect, as you can see. It doesn't quite fit perfectly, but I sewed that in and kind of tightened that in a little bit where it's at least sexier. And then the toughest thing, I wish I could really spin her, but I mean, I won't do this, was adding the hair to it. I actually had to sculpt a little bit to her forehead and about on the top of her head because she's got so much hair stacked up there. And again, this head was not sculpted to be a Poison Ivy. It was sculpted to be, you know, the bride character, and her hair is all different. But I added a little more forehead, and I personally added, you know, see if I can keep this in focus here. I added the hair myself, ordered some mohair. It came from Russia, which is funny. You know, I got a kick out of that. And did like the knots and added a few of the leaves up there. But the eyebrow flower decorative thing actually came from the big basketball head from this doll. I just carefully trimmed them right off of there and added them to the face. Now, it's not a 100% Uma Thurman likeness. I mean, it's cool enough for me. It's okay for me. I'm happy with it. And it captures her enough then it sort of justifies the trouble in getting rid of the other statues. So now I have, you know, Mr. Freeze has a little, you know, companion in crime, and I have a little display area now that I can kind of say, okay, for a little while, do a little nod to Batman and Robin. You know, probably one of my least favorite Batman movies. Got the old bike I showed in the other video, and the car I've shown, and a couple of figure things. But I could dig out my Batman figure, this is the only decent Batman. You know, the George Clooney Batman. You can't get, the doll sucks, and most of the things that are out there are terrible. The same with the Robin. The Robin's pretty cool, actually. He looks pretty good. So for now, that'll probably be it, unless they come out with some really decent ones. But this is about the Uma Thurman figure, and I think she turned out pretty hot. I mean, I'm happy enough with it. I don't like the stand. I've got to come up with a better stand for her. And I am going to do some accessories, a little man-eating plant and some, you know, things. I've got some ice pieces that I'm going to put with Mr. Freeze, big old chunks of ice and stuff. But I'm kind of happy with this, and one day when I've got this Batman display that shows all the movies, I mean, I'll even have, you know, Batman Forever and even Justice League there, you know, those guys. I'll have all these in their own little zones. And I know you've seen collectors that do that. You know, yes, you know who I'm talking about. Certain collectors in England with really cool collecting rooms who will go unnamed. But this is my attempt to kind of finish out my Batman collection, and there's always been a hole here in the Batman and Robin movie, and I know it's there and it's real and it's part of the history. So I'm doing my part to kind of have a nice display for that. But I will be moving on to the newer movies, including the Batman and things that I like more. So this is it for now, and I hope you enjoy the Batman and Robin completion so far. There'll be a Batgirl one day, I hope. That's it.